Hello YouTube, this is King Reef again, and this time I'm going to talk about legalism and Christianity. I asked a few questions on Yahoo Answers to kind of get charged up for this video that I want to do about this particular subject. I asked a series of questions, one right after the other, and it turned out to be about five questions about legalism. There was one person who voiced something that I've heard before. They don't think there are any legalists in Christianity. That's how far away from the truth that many Christians are. They cannot see for the life of them, which may be a literal thing to say, how a Christian could be a legalist. If you have a Christian who says that he's or she has to live a good, clean Christian lifestyle to please God, that's a legalist. The literal meaning of legalist or legalism in the dictionary, it means someone who adheres to a particular letter of the law, not by the spirit of the law. What I've found over the years of being on the internet, communicating with various people, is that legalism is rampant. It's the majority of Christianity out there. Legalism dominates Christianity, and you can start with the Catholic Church. You can move on and go through many of the Protestant denominations. Every Christian denomination has its share of legalism in it. I've met Pentecostals that were legalists. I've met Methodists that were legalists. Lutherans. Sometimes you can't tell a Lutheran from a Catholic, and I would think Martin Luther would be turning in his grave over that, but it's been going on for years. Martin Luther wasn't all right on everything either, but I guess none of us are. But I'm doing this video so I can maybe shed some light for some people into why the Christianity that I talk about is a bit different, might seem different from the Christianity that the legalists talk about. Well, the legalists in Christianity have a certain set of rules of doing things and not doing things, and they have a big long list of not doing things, and they think they're pleasing God by not doing things. They think they're being righteous, and sometimes you'll catch them saying so. What Christianity is actually is trusting God through Jesus Christ, and it's as simple as that. If God said something, He'll do it, and you trust Him for it. You can go through even the Old Testament, and you can find things that God had promised, and you make that a focus in your day. You trust God for that. If you're sick, the Lord is our healer. You want salvation, the Lord is our Redeemer. And Jesus Christ is God. He's the Redeemer, and God was speaking the truth way back in the Old Testament, saying that He's our Redeemer. He made it true in Jesus Christ. He fulfilled that promise, and we can trust Him for it. That's what a Christian is. What a Christian isn't is a legalist. A legalist will, after becoming saved, will turn their focus upon themselves and often each other, and they'll start tearing each other apart or themselves apart over some kind of little sin that they think that is a sin. It might not even be a sin, and torture each other and themselves over it. That's not what a Christian is. What they're being is human. They're being erroneous. They're being against God by doing things like that. In their quest to please God, they are not doing anything. Their angle is to please themselves. Somehow they wanted to get it together for God. before, I have also likened it to Abraham and Sarah deciding that Hagar should be the one to produce their offspring because God just wasn't fast enough. God was maybe a little slow. Maybe they thought God, well, Sarah had problems with God right away, and so did Abraham, but they decided to help God out and produce Ishmael. And the world's been in a big mess ever since. The sons of Ishmael were prophesied about. They would become a wild ass of a man, and every nation would stand against them. I'm telling you, we can see that happening even today, especially today, more than ever. So what Abraham and Sarah did was mess God's plan up when all along they had good intentions. They were going to help God out and produce a son. Well, God's plan wasn't Ishmael. God's plan was Isaac. And that was a child of promise, and it was a child that they had to wait for. Legalism within Christianity doesn't want to wait. They want you to make yourself. I'm pausing there because that's really the issue. I can also add words to that sentence, but that's really the truth of what legalism in Christianity is. They want you to make yourself better for God. And that's legalism in Christianity.
This church needs is some sinners who